In the previous recording, we had a function, and this question wasn't done yet. We had to come up with a formula for cost as a function of the number of months that you're renting the medical bag. And so we came up with this function, and now they want a graph. So the function is C equals 5m plus 80, like y equals 5x plus 80. So to graph this, we want to appropriately label the x and y axis. So let me just throw in the x-axis, throw in the y-axis, and now we have to label correctly. We have some points from the previous question that we could just plot the points. And so when x is 0, y is 80. When x is 2, y is 90. So there's ways to graph by plotting points. We can go to the line and use it to graph, but just as far as labeling the axis goes, we just need to go to about 10 in x, the number of months, and to about 150 in y, the cost in dollars. So I guess, yeah, that's about 15 going up, and we can go every other one going across. So here we go. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, great. And then going up, if we're going to make it to 150, everyone's going to be 10. So let's just do it in 20s. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, and so on. Okay, great. I think that's going to work. So when x is 1, we're at 85. Oh wait, when x is 0, we're at 80. That's a point. When x was 2, we were at 90. And so on. 3. I'm going to skip to 4. When x is 0. Oh wait, 2 is over here. I'm sorry. I plotted this wrong. Okay, there we go. Now when x is 4, that's where we're up to 100. 6, we go up by 10 more, 110. And that should be enough. Let's go ahead and plot the point. Connect the dots. Let me fix this here. Pretty much, that is the graph of our function. C equals 5x plus 80, where x, or m, is in months, and y, or c, is in dollars. Okay, great. That should have been part of the last video. Sorry about that. Okay, we need to determine the slope. So now we're switching gears. Given 2 points, find the slope. There's a formula for slope. The idea of slope is that it's the rise over run. And what it is the change in y divided by the change in x. It tells you what your slope is. To get how y changes, you subtract y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Subtract your y's, subtract your x's. In the numerator is where you subtract your y's at. Be careful with signs. So these points here are listed as 1, 6, and -7, 10. So these guys, 6 and 10, are the y's. Let's do it in this order. 10 minus 6. Go in the same order for the denominator. -7 minus 1. So just be careful with your signs. 10 minus 6 is a 4. If you're at negative 7, you take away 1, you're at negative 8. So that's going to be negative 1/2 as your slope. When x goes up by 2, y is going to go down by 1. That's what's going on for that. Totally separate question, this next guy. Yeah, not related. If I give you the equation y equals negative 2x plus 5, we're to identify m and b. Normally the equation is y equals mx plus b form. So m is the number that's in front of x. B is the number that's afterwards here. It's called the y-intercept. M is the slope. So they just want us to report back that just visually we can see quickly that m is negative 2 and b is 5. That's supposed to be a 5. Okay, great. Then we have an equation in a different form. Separate question. It's in a different form though. It's not in y equals mx plus b. It's like x some ax plus by equals c. But we can put it in y equals mx plus b if you want. We can use algebra to do it. So 12x minus 30y is 54. Solve for y. So negative 30y, I'm going to take this term and subtract it over to the other side. Negative 12x plus the 54. And we're going to divide by negative 30. On this side, each term gets divided by negative 30. You'll be left with y all by itself. 12 and 30 share something in common. They both have a 6. So it's going to be 2/5. A negative over a negative is a positive. 2/5 of x. 54 and 30 share something in common. They both have a, actually I guess it's more than a 6. But if you just take the 6 out first, no, it's just 6, yeah, 9/5. But it's a positive or a negative, so minus 9/5. So now we're in mx plus b form, and the m is 2/5, and the b is negative 9/5. Okay, great. So that's the end of that page. Let's keep going with this. Write the equation of the line that has a slope of 0 and goes through the point negative 3/8. If m is 0 and it goes through the point negative 3/8, I think it's best to visualize it. So negative 3 for x, positive 8 for y. What does a 0 sloping line look like? That means no change, no rise over run. A 0 sloping line is a horizontal line. In a horizontal line, the y never changes. The y is always going to be 8, but the x can be anything you want it to be. Horizontal lines have equations y equals b. If we go into y equals mx plus b with a 0 slope, we get y equals b. And it's the b value of the point that they gave you. So y equals 8 is the answer to that question. Let's see.